Welcome back to another episode of the Good Enough Gaming Podcast. This week's episode is entitled Doom Scrolling. I don't want to read this first bit, Daryl.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Like the title of Kyle's sex tape, we are here for a Chuggy and Brutal episode as we get into a game that dons an impressive soundtrack, use of weaponry, design, and just elements of visceral madness. That's right, everyone. We're talking about Doom Dark Ages today. The latest installment in the storied franchise boasts some new facets to the classic form. Several of the guys have dabbled in the game already, and we may have even used the soundtrack last month to get amped up before hopping into GameCon Canada. So join us on this ravaging rampage of a journey as we get you through your doomy day.
Yes.
I take offense to that first bit.
Hey, that is a joke
It's
from
great,
like season 2, so that it's a bit of a throwback.
Contractual obligation.
Yep, fair. So we're talking Doom, the Dark Ages today, which was it was on our radar, but I think I was a little hesitant at first because it was weird to go back like a prequel to the sequel of the. Like it's like throwing some weird story context at the whole Doom franchise, and I mean I get it.
Yes, because everyone just plays Doom for the story, and
Correct.
Obviously.
Correct.
That's why you're here.
We're so worried about that component.
Yeah.
I played some of it on stream at GameCon. You can see there was stints where like even just starting the game, I just like. You get like that metal stank face on.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like the music is just so good.
The title screen for that game is fantastic. That's one of those ones where as soon as you open up, you're like, oh yeah, like, I'm here.
I'm in the right place.
Yeah.
Daddy's home.
Exactly. So this one like adds some story, a bit more story components to it beyond just like Slayer, kill demons, get out of hell, stop hell invading Earth. Hell.
Hell on Earth.
This one kind of goes back a little bit to like Slayer origins of like how he came to be. And his use, I guess. He was being used and controlled by the makers. The makers.
An evil dark.
Do you want a rundown, Kyle? I actually finished the game.
Yeah, let's go.
The whole game.
Trevor,
right.
give us the rundown.
The way you play this game, this is essentially a prequel to the Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. So this is like the best way to play this. Like Doom 2016 just rebooted the franchise. What this does is they really take what happened in Doom Eternal and tried to like fill back the gaps because there's some flashbacks of like the Doom Slayer gets pulled from hell and they're trying to figure out who the hell this guy is and why he's so mad all the time.
It's an angry elf.
So you go back to Argent D'Nur, which eventually like in future Dooms and stuff, you hear about Argent Energy and all that jazz. See Doom, the movie, great movie featuring The Rock.
So good.
Classic.
Carl Urban?
Carl Urban. Yeah. And so what this is Doom guy in this, the makers are seen as like gods. They're like kind of techno robot people. So in Doom Eternal, there's some like wicked ass ones. In this one, you get like fat Pope maker. He's like big floating guy, which is funny. He's underneath. He's just kind of like a meat sack, as you find out later in the game. It's kind of gross. But they essentially have full control of Doom guy. So on his armor, he's got like a little beacon and they are like, he's like a weapon. And what's happening is one of the princes of hell is coming to attack the humanoids of Argent D'Nur, because he's trying to do all sorts of things, takes over the world sort of idea. So think of this kind of like Asgard. Think of it like Thor universe. So hand-to-hand combat with swords and cool weapons, but there's still like space travel.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that like perfect balance between the two. And they start
Bifrost.
You got to send in Doom guy, launch him in here, blah, blah, blah. And then he starts to get angrier and he starts to break out of his like chains and then the makers kind of fight back. So it's this back and forth of Doom guy becoming kind of free and self-aware.
He's become sentient.
The makers are hilarious, Kyle. I don't know if you noticed this. There's like the peons, they all look the same. The rest of them all kind of look the same to me. And they've got these like digital noodly arms, and then they're like a robot in the middle. They all kind of look like anyone from our generation will remember like the War Amps like robot.
Yes.
I can put my arm back on.
Yes.
You can't.
You can't. Some reason the way they talk and the way their face looks, I'm like, it's the War Amps robot people. Like, why are they here? Yeah, so the biggest thing here is obviously they're trying to explain a lot of the stuff that happens in Doom Eternal, but they do a lot of twists on the way Doom works. So you no longer get like the infamous chainsaw. You get a plethora of other like hand weapons. So there's like a mace, like a flail, some other stuff. And then the shield is sort of like the chainsaw. And then they've added some new mechanics with that. So you can like throw it and then you throw it to activate things, or you can throw it and kind of like launch yourself at it. So you're like super angry Captain America.
So U.S. agent.
Correct.
On steroids.
Yeah.
The combat in this feels so frantic, especially with like the finishers and, you know, some of the like the parry stuff. You know, enemies shoot green fireballs at you and you can parry it and send it back versus red ones, which you can't. And
you lost me at parry.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, Daryl. Like sometimes it feels definitely more like a rhythm game. Some people did complain about the over simplification of this compared to previous Dooms, but very specifically Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal has, like, when we talk about the complexity of games being complex for the sake of it, that is Doom Eternal. You've got like Predator shoulder cannons. One does like a flamethrower. One shoots grenades. Even on like the most like, what is it? Hurt Me Plenty, which is like the average middle difficulty. I always love that about Doom, the difficulty names.
Yeah.
Even on that, like you're constantly running out of ammo. You're constantly having to do, in Doom Eternal, they're called glory kills. They really got away from them in this, where like in Doom Eternal, anyone who's like flashing a color, like you can punch them and then it's like a super hit kill. In Doom Eternal, those are glory kills. So like the techno arachnid guys, they look like the kid from Toy Story with like the baby head on like the robot spider. Like Doom guy will rip off its leg. Like you go into like a mini cutscene where he'll like in combat where you rip off his leg and stab him in the eye with it. And that's how you kill him. In Dark Ages, you don't get that as much except for very specific times. Whereas in Doom Eternal, it's too much. You can do it to every enemy. Constantly. Okay. But in Doom Eternal, that's how you can like, when you do that, you get health that pops out of them and it comes back. Very specifically using your chainsaw, which you have to have enough gas in your chainsaw to kill different tiers of enemy, which is annoying as fuck.
That's dumb.
That's a weird mechanic.
It was a weird mechanic, but what they did with it is that's how you would like recoup a lot of your ammo. So I've gone back and I've been playing Doom Eternal like for this episode because I wanted to get the comparison. And even on normal difficulty, I'm always just like, why do I have no ammo in my like most basic weapons?
Yeah.
Because you're fighting these huge mobs of people. You're trying not to die. You're frantically, running in the arena. And you're always just like, why am I so low on ammo all the time? Whereas I think with Dark Ages, they kind of got away from that a bit. You can still recoup it by killing guys, but there's definitely more of the classic Doom
ammo
stuff on the floor.
Yeah.
Ammo, shields, like very much like OG, like Doom 64 era, as people will remember.
The glory
like,
days.
Yeah. Here's the blue floating head orb that's like, recoups all your health and stuff. Here's the bars of ammo and stuff on the floor. So they simplified it, but it definitely feels like they're kind of like rejig the whole franchise a little bit back to something a bit more basic, because Doom Eternal got a little dumb. To be fair.
A little ridiculous.
It did.
So given that you've gone back and played Doom Eternal versus Dark Ages, what do you feel about like the weapon diversity between the two? Because I mean, like weapons are a huge part of Doom. You know, like getting think back to, OG Doom days. It's like, I got myself a plasma rifle and that shit is fire. I got the rocket launcher. I finally got the BFG. Stuff like that. So how do they compare? I mean, the more current versions between Eternal and Dark Ages.
It's so funny. They're so similar, but like slightly different.
Same, but different.
Yeah. So you're going to get obviously your shotgun. And part of that is the super shotgun. So instead of just like a regular shotgun, it's just the double barrel classic style super shotgun. You're going to get more of like an assault rifle. You get the plasma rifle, which is used, in especially Dark Ages, they focus a little bit more on like, kind of like the Pokemonification of stuff where you're like, there's a guy holding a metal shield. I have to shoot it until it glows red. Then I can throw my shield at it and it'll burst. Oh, there's a guy holding like a plasma shield that's blue. So I have to shoot that with my energy weapon and that'll make it blow up. Get a rocket launcher. You get Doom. It's like more of like a crossbow is like the BFG. It's like the big green thing.
Yeah.
In Doom Eternal, you get like the BFG 9000 because you took it out of the BFG 10,000, which
Power
you just
level
literally
9,000.
you literally just shot a fucking hole into planet Mars with, which is fucking cool. It's very Doom. So very similar. Like the weapons all have little tweaks and modifications that you can do. Doom Eternal, much more like weird modifications. Doom Dark Ages, it's more like you swap. So it's like, do you want this version of the assault rifle or this other one?
Gotcha.
The single fire versus the multi-fire.
Right.
But in some ways, it just makes more sense that way. Like, yes, it's great to be able to customize a million things, but it's like, I want my wheel of like 8 weapons. I want them to make sense and not have like 30 attachments I have to like scroll through while I'm doing it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. There is a weird one though in Doom Dark Ages. It's like a shot put crossbow. So it's like a chain. It's like a weighted ball chain and you just like shoot it in the out and just like punch people with it.
Oh, what?
Oh, like a chain shot from Pirates.
Yes. But like it comes back. So it's like a cannonball with a little reel on it, fish it back in sort of thing.
Kyle just got excited
goodness.
about the pirate.
Yes. You don't have to do that.
That's too bad.
That would be
fishing.
funny though. It's frantically Doom guide.
That is not a game that needs a fishing mechanic. That is not a game that needs.
We don't need fishing.
Not even for demons?
Fishing for some hell bass.
Okay, reel it in, you guys.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So, Trev, give me I've had time to play a few chapters. Give me your biggest highlights. Now you've played both pretty extensively. What are the major like glow ups that make you want to slay?
Slay. I think the biggest thing they've added here, obviously Doom's always known for having like mazes and like weird level design and trying to find secrets. The biggest thing I noticed with Dark Ages is they've added a lot more open zones. So there's a main objective. You got to take down the 3 catapults or whatever attacking the city. They're in 3 different areas of this open zone. But within that, there's lots of like, I'd call them like mini side quests. Like they're not really, but there's little areas to explore. There's like the secret purple key zone.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's lots of like
keys still.
There's lots of like little quirky things to discover on the map. And even if you can see where they are on the map, sometimes trying to figure out like how to get to them or like what it is you have to do to like open that door is a big component of it. But they do a really good job of I thought the game was going to be a lot shorter than it ended up being. But there's like, I would say 4 or 5 of these areas where you go in and you're like, wow, this place is fucking huge. Like I'm used to like Doom in a hallway.
In a tunnel, in a small hallway.
And even Doom Eternal has a lot of that. There's some more open like arena type areas, but it's still very much like, this is where you go left, go right. So this lets you kind of do it at your own speed. And then you can just do the primary objective and move on, or you can like try to get everything. And so Doom does a really good job of that too. Like in Dark Ages, they do a chapter system. So it's like each level is a level. At the end of the level, it will tell you, did you 100% complete this level? yes, no, what did you miss?
Did you pick up the plushies? Did you?
Correct. Oh, we'll get to that. Like, and so it makes you want to replay it, right? Because it really made me want to be like, oh, I want to get as much of this out of the way as I can, or like to find everything. And then it's like, oh, I got 95%. Fuck, I missed a secret
One
or
thing.
something.
Mhm.
Right. So it kind of harkens back to that old age, but it doesn't hit the same way with like Doom, like original Doom, where you're like, oh, this is a false wall. You walk through it and you're in like a secret zone that no one knew unless your friend found it or you had the guide or whatever, right? Like there's none of that.
Yeah.
There's no split fiction in there.
Yeah. So there's none of that. But I would say the best thing is these new open zones, but within it, obviously there's a bunch of like arenas and like areas of mobs to kill.
Yeah.
So you can just kind of like cruise through them. You move pretty quick. They're like there's more of a sprint mechanic in this. It's really funny. It's like a horror movie mechanic. Like you hear Doom guy just stomping like he's walking no matter what, but he just is moving faster. So it kind of reminds me of like a Freddy versus Jason type thing where like the bad guy's always walking, but he's always closing in on you.
It's a supernatural walking ability.
Yeah, he's like because he's like the boogeyman of demons, right? So
Right.
Yes.
It's kind of funny. Like he's always walking, but he can move so fast.
Yeah, it checks out.
That does make sense. So you like through the story, you said like obviously this is kind of that in between, and there's flashbacks in Eternal. Does this one like help fill in the gaps?
Yes.
Well, like does it actually, make the story make more sense?
It does and it doesn't. Like there's parts of it. The cinematics in this are really good. They kind of explain like, okay,
Yeah, I agree.
Doom guy is this guy who's being controlled by them and he's slowly kind of breaking free. Then all this shit happens. He's got to obviously he's trying to defeat the demons. There's a couple twists and turns. But it definitely fills in very specifically those voids. Like there's callbacks to certain characters. There's callbacks to certain people that they talk about. You're like, oh, it's this guy. Like if you were like, the the Marvel nerd going to see the movies and you're like, oh, that's this guy. So they do a bit of that. The cutscenes are very good. But the problem is sometimes when they jump in the levels, unless you're like reading Doom's always hilarious for this. They always call them fucking dossiers. Unless you're reading the dossiers and like the extra bits that you pick up to read, sometimes they're like, oh yeah, and then Doom guy went to hell to go kill people. You're like, when the fuck did we do that? Like just at the end of the level, you're like, oh yeah, he went through a portal. You're in hell now. You're like, the fuck is going on? Whereas in Doom Eternal,
I'm not doing Dark Souls lore reading here. Like
no,
right?
Whereas in Doom Eternal, you're on the like flying fortress of solitude. And you've got Samuel Hayden, who becomes a character later on, who's like kind of your robot guide through part of it. And him and the we'll call it Jarvis of the fortress, like tell you where you're going. And then you kind of like beam down to whatever planet you're doing stuff on. Right.
Gotcha.
So they're like, oh, you're going to go through the portal. And this is what we're doing. This is the objective. Whereas there's a couple jumps in Dark Ages where you're like, how the fuck did we get here, guys? Like, what's happening? But aside from that, the cutscenes and like the way that they generally carry the story is quite good.
Okay.
With this being a prequel, like where do they go from here story wise? Like did Eternal kind of like finish Doomslayer's story and that's why they felt the need to go back, or
not really? I'm trying to remember because I still have to completely finish Eternal, and then it had 2 DLCs where you kind of figure out some more stuff that's going on.
You have to go put Mars back together because
it turns into like a base building game or like a.
Well, I'm pretty sure because they talk about it in Eternal a couple times where like the Doomslayer, there are a couple characters that you can see have like evolved from Dark Ages, or they like devolved them back. And he talks about, he's like, you were never one of us, blah, blah, blah. So the Doomslayer, they kind of explain was like kind of like a person from hell at some point.
Oh.
Because I believe at the end of one of the DLCs, you go to kill like the Dark Lord, like Satan.
Hello, Satan.
And it's essentially like, it's kind of one of those like mindfuck things where it's like, it is Doom guy. Like he's like a clone. Sort of thing. Like, it's kind of like they're the same, but he's like
the devil.
Yeah. I'm Ron Burgundy.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff there that's confusing. The Doom timeline's all over the fucking map, really.
They needed a reset. They need Doom 1.
Oh God. I mean, that's kind of what this was.
Like Daryl said, I don't think the majority play Doom for the deep narrative. You know,
No.
that's
I
not
mean,
how we play these.
Doom 1 was just like kill demons. Doom 2 was like, oh my God, they killed my rabbit. Kill more demons.
John Wick with a rabbit.
Yeah, it was like some weird story moment at the end of one of the games where they're like, the demons killed his pet rabbit and now he's mad. You're like, what the fuck? It just makes no sense.
Not Mr. Kibbles.
Yeah. So there's just, like Jordan says, you're not here for Expedition 33 levels of story.
No.
You're here to
No.
like headbang to some metal and just shred demons and kind of have a nice story to go with.
Sweet.
Yeah.
With a bitchin' soundtrack through the
Yes.
whole
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
Yes, they did a fantastic job on this one. It's definitely much more cohesive. You can see the problems with Doom Eternal sometimes. Like, you could tell it was like made in a bit of a rush.
Mm.
This one felt like they actually had a plan.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of a plan,
Uh-oh.
Simple plan?
no, a planned break. So we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna go with another one of my favorite segments.
Not that you're biased or anything. But
No, I'm not
Surprise.
biased. So we're gonna shift to another episode of Wrong Answers Only. Take it away, me.
Wrong answers only.
Thanks, me. You're goddamn right, Jordan. So, if you're new here, if you're wondering why the hell I'm talking to myself, I mean, that's normal. But this segment is called Wrong Answers Only. I give the guys and myself a prompt of some kind, and they do their best to give me the worst possible answer. Probably.
Always.
Usually all our answers make it on the show. Sometimes not. Right, Daryl?
right.
So, this week's prompt is, please provide for me some of the weapon designs and choices that did not make it to Doom Dark Ages. Give me your cutting room floor Doom weapons. I have one for Trevor.
Oh, I have so many.
I just was thinking like it would be hilarious because it wouldn't fit any of it because it's so brutal of a game. Like, can you imagine if you just shot a bubble gun, like one of those things you get at the dollar store that just shot
I was thinking
bubbles and like just trapped people inside of them? Like
What was that stupid game?
High on Life?
No. Like it's not Splatoon. It was PlayStation's Splatoon.
Oh, Foam Stars.
Foam Stars.
fucking Foam Stars.
Doom Foam Stars
How many-
crossover.
How many callbacks does that garbage game get in this
God,
podcast?
too many.
See, I was thinking the same thing, Daryl. I was thinking like a super soaker, like a really color, because this game's so dark, a really colorful super soaker, either to put out the fires of hell or it's filled with holy water. And you're just like burning your
That's
engines.
good. I like that one.
This is starting to get to like Call of Duty levels of weapon
Yes.
design already.
Yeah.
I propose the holy hand grenade of Antioch.
Yeah, that was my
that's
other
a
one
good
I had. Yeah. Holy hand grenade.
We have the holy hand grenade. Yes, of course. The holy hand grenade of Antioch.
Pull the pin
I've
and
got.
count to 3.
I'll throw one in there because he uses so many melee weapons, and I think he's had a sword at one point in his day. They try to do a collaboration with Saints Row and bring in the dildo sword. And
Sword.
they figured that collaboration just wasn't very lucrative, so they decided to cut it last minute.
And then build in the like those groan tubes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Build that into it.
Yep. I like
I
it.
think he kind of does this in the games where like Doom guy will kill you with like your own body part. Like he constantly is snapping off legs and like stabbing you in the face and stuff like that. I think at some point he should just be like one of the Minotaur guys or something. Like he should literally just rip off somebody's head
And just wear
kill
it.
guys, just kill guys with another guy, like eat a motherfucker with a motherfucker, like just flailing around like a cacodemon or something. Like
it should just be Isabel from Animal Crossing. He just like pulls her out of a fucking bag in the back and just starts beating people to death with her.
It's like a Rocket and Groot situation. She's just on his shoulder.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
I also imagine like, there's like a part where you could just pull out a giant boombox and the music gets a little louder. It's just on one shoulder, and then you're like, you have, I don't know, old 1970s like street fighting gloves, like biker gloves on, and you just go and punch everybody. Like just,
I like that.
Put on my leathers. I'm jamming out. It's time to go beat somebody down.
Just
I
like
didn't find it in
Sylvester
this.
Stallone over the top.
Yeah, exactly.
With that music on, man.
I didn't find it in this, but there is in Doom Eternal. They do have the classic from Doom, like it's like enraged mechanic, where you get a power up for like a minute, and all you do is you're just punching people to death.
Yeah.
Like you take no damage, and you just punch people, and you one punch everybody.
Berserker.
I would
Yes.
happily loan him my Randy's Savage gloves from D&D.
Yeah.
So
right.
you had mentioned, sorry, Jordan,
No, go for it.
the lack of chainsaw in this one,
Yes.
and the lack of like punch. Like they have the power gauntlets, but I don't think those were badass enough.
Yeah.
I want like grinder gloves, so they've got like chainsaws built into the fists,
Like iron knuckles, but like chains running.
yeah, like a bunch. Like just think of like some of the executions or like glory kills you could do, just like grind someone's head down.
Can I pull a lawnmower cable
We have
on the side?
We have to do that right now.
Well, okay. We're gonna have to get back to that because there is a weapon I forgot about. That just reminded me. But very similar to like GoldenEye paintball mode or big head mode. I think that would be funny, Kyle, if you had a Doom Guy sock and bopper mode.
Oh,
Just a big red and blue. Just replace all the enemy sounds with screams of small children.
Just like comic book pows and bangs
Help!
pop up on the screen.
Mom!
that would be amazing.
I got one more. Obviously, Doom Guy he's the deadliest amongst the cosmos, but we haven't talked about the deadliest man on planet Earth himself, who he should be teaming up with in the next game. Hasbulla. Hasbulla should be in the game.
Oh my god!
Whether it be as
I was like, what a weird combination. Doom Guy and
crossover.
Chuck Norris.
I thought you were gonna say like Jean-Claude or something.
Hasbulla. Then you can throw them at enemies, and that's what I want.
Just toss them. There's a sport for that, you know.
Oh boy.
It's a Haas boomerang.
Oh. All right, I'm gonna pull the chute on this shit before it gets any worse.
Smart.
You're welcome.
Oh, okay. Going back to Doom, we were talking about Doom, but like
Real
more
Doom.
Doom. Do you remember growing up? The original Dooms. There was cheat codes for like God mode and like no clipping and stuff. Did anyone ever get like the Barney cheat to work? There was like a rumor that there was some cheat code you could put in to make all the enemies turn into Barney, so you could kill Barney.
That's got to be a mod. Like that's insane.
It's either a mod or that's like the playground lie.
I think it was a playground lie, but like it was always out there. Like no matter what, no matter where you went or who you talked to, everyone knew about the Barney.
There could be a semblance of truth to it. It's like the Cal level that people just didn't believe existed in Diablo for a long time.
There is no Cal level. So coming back to actual Doom, the Dark Ages, is this the darkest age of the game? Do we have more to look forward to? Do we have things we want to complain about? Because we love that.
I do have some complaints.
All right.
I do too.
Hit them.
Yes. For starters, as people said, like it is less complex, but it is also slightly oversimplified. I like the references they made. They brought back in. It's funny that the term imp has now been turned into like a little winged demon. You think of them in D&D or anything like that. In OG Doom, they were like the big brown guys with like spikes.
Spiky shoulder.
Like anyone can remember that. So they
Yeah.
brought back the imp stalkers, and there's like the invisible ones as well.
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
They made some tweaks on some enemies, which is good. Like instead of just the pinky, like pink bowl guy, there's like a pinky rider now. So he's kind of like a, was it like the warg riders from Lord of the Rings?
Okay.
Which is
yeah.
cool. Someone changed the Cacodemon, which is the one-eyed floating guy.
Mhm.
They massacred the
Someone
boy.
was just like, hey, you know the thing we haven't changed? So we got to put our unique spin on it. And I got to say, they made that thing so fucking lame.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
As like one of the OG, like they've probably been in every single Doom game. They're like so iconic. I'll throw that out there.
Nice.
They did him dirty. Like some of the other enemies are really cool. That guy was just like, that's so lame.
Yeah,
That's unfortunate. That's
I found the enemies were just kind of like there wasn't the first time like we fought the cyber demon in like some of the original Dooms, it's like, holy shit, this thing is massive and is firing rockets at me. I didn't get the same vibe from a lot of enemies that I've faced so far.
Right.
Yeah.
Not as memorable.
Some of the big bosses are really cool,
Yes.
but some of it, like the other one, the really big advertising moment of this game, there's two of them. Number one, riding your dragon.
mm.
Oh,
For
it's
starters,
Which I was
starters,
like, ooh, I
he's-
might play this game.
he's very cool. For starters, one, he's not even a dragon. Like he's a Komodo dragon. He doesn't actually have wings. They're like digi wings.
Oh,
Like, if you're being technical, he's not actually a dragon.
No.
He's cool as fuck though. But of course, he's like dressed like the Doom guy, and he's like the
Yeah, yeah.
baddest lizard
Right.
there is. The riding dragon moments of this game are like an interlude of Star Fox laid into the Doom universe.
Really?
It's so weird. You end up, you chase a pilot or whoever. You're trying to shoot down this thing as kind of a way to take you to the next thing. Then you're going to end up shooting this thing. And guess what? It's got a shield. Oh my God, guys, it's got a shield. Only way to break the shield is to dodge some green shit. So you
Yep.
side dodge once, or you up dodge once. And then now your lizard breath is now a different color. Your laser beams are a different color. Breaks the shield, kills it. Like it is so overly simplistic.
Dodge,
And
duck,
like
dip,
it
dive,
looks
and
cool
dodge.
looks cool as hell. But I'm like, this is Star Fox 64 at best. Like this is not anything crazy. And then the other one was the mech.
Yeah.
They showed off this cool fucking Gundam mech, which are cool. There's some cool story moments like in cutscenes. It just feels like they took Doom Guy and then they just like scaled him up and you're just walking through town. And then now instead of shooting guys, you just have to like punch guys and same thing, dodge them once and then you punch them. Then you dodge again and then you punch them. And
Like
then there's
that
a
Power
power
Rangers.
I was gonna say this is like Power
Yeah.
Rangers.
Yeah.
It almost like it is on par with that. So there's parts of it that you're like, this seems so cool. And then you get into it and you're like, this is so repetitive and kind of lame and kind of unnecessary that it doesn't really do anything to the game. It doesn't add anything. Like you
Right.
could have it as story content for cutscenes, but as playable content, it's just kind of
This was somebody in the boardroom who came up with a cool idea of something to add into the game, but nobody had a gameplay idea to back it up. They're
Yeah.
just like, oh, mechs are cool. Yeah, let's throw a mech in there.
Well, because
You're
so
right.
in Doom Eternal, in your fortress, you have like the half remnants of one of the mechs that I think is powering it. And so you get to see that in Doom Eternal for the first time. And you're like, and they look
Sick.
fucking
Yeah.
cool, right? It's like Doom Gundam Wing. Like they are super cool looking.
Dang.
And then in this one, they're like, okay, we've got to bring these things in like they existed.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, okay, I'm in a giant Rock'em Sock'em robot. Like, why? Just why?
This just proves that we need a real Gundam game where you can step out of the suit and do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they kind of did that, but then they limited so many
I
of
want
the
a story
mechanics.
Gundam game. I don't
Yeah.
want to.
Yes.
They just limit so many of the mechanics in that thing that you're like, this is just a lame, like weird, like beat 'em up segue, like first person beat 'em up segue.
I would love a mech game that like was story based and not like PvP based. Like that would be so sick.
Armored Core?
Yeah. Closest
Yeah, a
one
little
is
bit.
the last Armored Core, but that's getting into the two like the learning curve is steep as fuck.
Yeah, those games are hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doom was not difficult. I mean, like I played it on normal difficulty. I found a lot of the combat I found it tedious at times. Like fighting the same shit. Like, oh fuck, there's one person I missed. Where do I go fight him? Punch him once. You know, like you said, they simplified a lot of things. And I think because of that, the combat lost my attention. Which I know it's difficult to hold.
So is this like a short burst only game? Like, is this like I could play this for a couple days and I'm done? Or is this like I'll play this for 2 hours at a time, maybe, and just like slowly chip away at it?
Yeah, I think it's more of like a chapter or two at a time. And you're like, okay, I'm good. This is like about the same as it was. So it's not something that you could sit down and put in like 3, 4, 5 hours into. It's not Daryl playing Dark Deity or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I'm looking here because it's on Game Pass. If you're just main storying, you're looking at 14 hours.
Okay.
And then because I was doing I wasn't completely doing completionist stuff, but I was pretty close.
Mhm.
That pushes it to like 20 to 25.
That's not.
And then
that's
obviously-
not a terribly long game. Yeah.
Obviously, if
Not
you're
terrible.
playing it on like what is it? the
Holy
other-
shit mode.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
other
fuck you,
difficulties, like it's
difficulty.
you're gonna be redoing right. The grind of like how do I dodge?
Yeah.
And
Right.
so I do have to say though, it's weird that they added the parry mechanic, but going back to Doom Eternal, it is useful. There are certain things that enemies do that like with a dash dodge thing that they do, you just can't do anything with it. You just take damage all the time. So it's like in Doom Eternal, you're like your health bar is constantly going up and down. You're getting like the warning of like, oh, you got low health. So that's like part of the game mechanic is like that up and down roller coaster. But in this, it's like, oh, I can actually do something about this thing being shot at me. Just a little bit more.
Doom is very like we talked about weapons and what they have for it. There were some cool weapons, the one where you like crunch the skull in and it's like
that was the one I forgot about. So that was the one that they've added. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So it's like it's got a little V6 engine on it and it grinds skulls and it like shoots them out. So you can do one that's more focused or more of like a band spray. That one's kind of cool. Cause like the visuals on it are really cool. Like you see the skulls go into it and then it just like is shooting bits at people. Like that's
crazy.
That's cool.
I still would have liked a bit more weapon diversity and creativity with it. I guess like Doom's not known for, it's not like a Borderlands game. It's like billions of combinations.
No.
But it would have been nice to like branch out a bit more.
It'd even
like,
be
with a few
cool
more
if they had like enemy weapons that you could pick up that like you don't get to keep them, but
Like
you just get to
limited
pick.
use.
Yeah, you get to use whatever ammo is left in that clip, and then you have to like throw it at somebody. But like that would be a fun way to introduce like new weapon types would not affect the wheel.
So that just like
the weapon wheel.
That just PTSD'd me a bit. In Doom Eternal, and I believe in previous Doom, as part of the secrets, there are ways sometimes I believe to unlock guns early. So if you find them, you can get them for your playthrough earlier. Or you reach a very later point in the story and they're like, here, we'll just give you the weapon. You kind of need it for this boss.
Yeah.
Right.
In Dark Ages, because you're like, it's kind of like Halo, like you've been dropped in to deal with this thing. They're constantly just like, it's like Helldivers. They're just constantly shooting shit down for you to use.
Yeah,
and they're like, here's your next gun. Here's your next gun. It's just kind of like, oh, really? Like,
here's your next supply drop.
Yeah.
There's
like,
fucking give this to me 5 levels ago.
It's just the way to like limit the pace of the story for the most part. Also, they did start this with the previous Doom, but it's gotten more so now. This is turning into like, they made the Ninja Turtles cartoon to sell Ninja Turtles merchandise that you saw during the ads. in previous Dooms, like part of the collectibles, you get these little figures. That was like the secrets that you would find, these like little figures.
Yeah.
So all of the figures you find in this, I believe, are being made as U2s, but they are definitely in the game as like U2s
crazy.
figures.
You can
Some
pick 'em
are
up,
cool, but like the whole thing,
But
I'm just
also,
like, I feel like
yeah.
I'm playing an advertisement right now.
Yeah, I was like,
Like the
wow.
whole thing, I'm
Product
just like,
placement.
it's like I'm
It's
surprised
like a
there's like a link.
Transformers movie.
Didn't even
Yeah.
try.
Yeah, it feels like
Yeah.
there should be like a link on screen to be like, here, do you want to buy this one? And some of them are cool. I would, but
Yeah.
like,
Here's the Amazon
yeah, here's the wish list.
Yeah.
Now, I got one question that half of it doesn't apply to this game at all. But us growing up, obviously, we had like Duke Nukem, we had Doom, we had Wolfenstein.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, I've always been far more intrigued with Wolfenstein. That universe has always been cooler to me. With this new Doom game, where do you sit? I guess all of you on that. Like, would you say Doom is better, or do you prefer Wolfenstein? Like, what are your
Hexen.
thoughts?
Okay. Just
The story
wasn't
of,
part of the question, Kyle.
the story of new Wolfensteins has been like the most recent ones, which I don't know if they're making them anymore.
Hasn't been one
The
of them.
stories in those were great. They were super intense, like super fucked up, really good.
Fighting
big-
Nazis.
Well, the biggest thing I found in those though was like it wasn't what it used to be in terms of like Doom, where you're powerful, you can get in
Yep.
there and like get gritty.
Right.
I felt like even on normal mode playing Wolfenstein, you had to be like very stealthy and like hide all the time and be very selective when you attacked people.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Whereas like Doom, like especially this one, the reason I think I stuck with this game so long and finished it is because to me it felt like I was playing like OG Dooms from when I was a kid. I'm just running at
Right.
guys, I'm dodging shit,
Running and gunning.
I'm blowing things heads off and just like having a great time. And if I want to turn up the difficulty or replay it again, it's not going to be much more than that. There's a little story thrown in just to carry the load.
I would just like to see a new Duke Nukem just to see it get canceled immediately.
Yeah.
Like after it was made, like canceled by the masses or canceled by the studio. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, by
This
the
game
masses.
is too.
Yeah,
This game is
like
too
There ain't
offensive.
No way.
you could
Yeah.
not make that a game now. Like you could and amp it up. Like you couldn't. Like Grand Theft Auto already gets in a ton of shit all the time, and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
but that they have the money and the wherewithal to back it up with other things. But like Duke Nukem would not go.
They're just doing crime
anymore.
shit. Duke Nukem's
Yeah.
like dropping some verbal bombs that you're like,
Yeah, there's
whoa,
some serious stuff there. Yeah.
can't say that anymore, Duke Nukem guy.
Wasn't there some rumor about something to do with like Duke Nukem reboots or like a movie or something? I
They've been
swear to
talking
God, I
about
read
that
something
for
about
the
that.
last 20 years.
That's
Yeah.
that's every millennial's
always
hopeful
been the case.
thing. But same thing. As soon as it runs to some like board or PR, everyone's like, "Fuck, can't make
Shut
that."
it down. Shut
Can't
it
do
down.
that.
No.
Can't do that.
It's like saying, hey, we want to make Tropic Thunder, but we want to make it more offensive. Is that cool? Can
Yeah.
we make that in 2025? Like, no, you can't.
Jeez. Yeah, there's no way Duke Nukem in its
No
Glory.
chance.
Originality.
yeah.
No chance.
So, Trevor, you're the one that has played it the most. My score for it, like I think I'm at like a 7.5.
Okay.
You go in, it's like a Fast and Furious movie. You need
You know what to expect.
go in expecting a Doom game, and you get a Doom game.
Pockets
You're
ain't
not-
empty, cuz.
Eject
I got a
Cito.
shotgun in my pocket.
So it's like it's a Doom game. It's not meant to be super deep and like challenging for your mind to comprehend.
Wow.
But I think that's where it falls short too, is
Right.
you can only play for so long before you're like, yeah, I'm good. I do appreciate though that they didn't include like there's no like forced multiplayer. Like it's all just story mission.
Just story.
Yeah, that's nice. You gotta appreciate
The
that.
Doom Eternal multiplayer was weird as fuck. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
I can see
weird.
that.
I agree. I'm at like a 7.5. Like if you want something that's a little bit more mindless, if you enjoy Doom, yeah, it might be a bit simple, but it is a fun playthrough. It gets you back in the Doom universe. It gets you a little bit of the, you know, the story of places you might have known about if you're like a Doom nerd.
I read Doom books on my spare time.
Yeah, you can always turn up the difficulty. The nice thing too is not only do they just have like, I think it's like 5 or 6, like they have like a lot of difficulties to choose from. Each of those also has individual sliders. So if there's something that's pissing you off, like if you're parry window, you can change the slider on that, like enemy health, damage,
nice.
stuff like that.
Okay, okay.
Good quality
accessibility wise. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They do a really good job of that. So you can really target the game the way you want. But like Kyle says, don't expect to play this in like one sitting. It's not going to pull you in that much. You're going to get to a point where you're like, this is a lot of the same shit.
I need
over
a break.
and over.
Yeah.
But it is fun. It's a good time. The cutscenes are fucking cool. You get to see a bit of spoilers. See Doom guy like kind of dies in a pool of acid. It's fucking cool as shit.
Oh, crazy.
The results of that is fucking sweet.
I'm just gonna go watch the cinematics.
There's
just
some
a lot
for
of
Kyle,
bro hell yeah moments in this game.
There's a lot of that. I mean, Kyle, there's like some deep threads of like Cthulhu in this, like elder god shit. Like there's like some giant Cthulhu monsters in this and stuff like that. Like there's some cool stuff they did. It just isn't held. It's held together with crazy glue a little bit, right? Like it's just not quite structural. But yeah, so I'd give it like 7.5, 8, like especially if you're in the mood for this.
Cool.
You do have to be in the mood for it though.
Yes, that's step one.
I went to go try and play it, and I was like, maybe I'll give it a try. I fired it up, and immediately was just like, nope. I'm gonna go play something else.
Yeah.
So
not today.
It's a very specific mood you have to be in.
Yeah.
Great. Daryl, Jordan, you haven't really jumped in on it, so.
Nope.
5 out of 10.
1 coin flip out of 10 for Jordan.
I'll score anything. 5 out of 10.
All right. If you have any issues, take it up with Jordan. Once again, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. We hope you have a Duke Nukem, Doom, Wolfenstein-y day, night.
Sounds awful.
A little less gloom, a little more doom.
I think that was good enough.
That was good enough.
Good enough.
It's good. You know what? Better than good. Good enough.
Good enough.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at GEG Podcast. Check out our website, goodenoughgaming.com, and write us an email about anything from our episodes or something you would like us to discuss in the future. You can also now join us on Discord on the Good Enough Gaming Discord server. We really appreciate you listening and hope you continue to join us on this epic adventure of discussing all things gaming and nerdy. Please subscribe to the Good Enough Gaming podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever else you listen to your podcasts, and rate us 5 stars so we can find more good enoughers in the process. Just remember, we might not be great, but we are good enough.